As you may have seen, I raised my son. Actually, you didn't see that. I raised my son about 2 weeks ago, and he dusted me. Like, it was incredible. Like, how much torque his go kart, even with all the weight he has. So he right after he got a jump on me, he stayed in front of me for maybe 3 4 go-karts or something like that. It was significant. It was not nothing. It was significant. And then I came back and I just dusted him when I was going, kind of high gear type of situation, like high speed. And then he stayed behind because his gearing is way too tall. But it's awesome. It's an awesome gearing because his go-kart feels very torquey. Which is exactly how I like my vehicles, such as motorcycles and whatnot, just to be. So I wanted to have a baseline. We estimated, like, he got me by like 4 go-karts, and then I did the same to him when I reached high speed. So I told him, you know what, that's crazy, but I love like torquey bikes. I don't enjoy like the whole high speed on a bike like this. So I much rather be on my neighborhood, just kind of giving it a little bit of like throttle, and then just kind of getting that feel of like really torquey engine. So yeah, I told him I'm just gonna upgrade. So we were going to be creating the baseline today, and when we were about to race, this is what happened. All right, so my son and I raced the CT and the go kart last week. His go kart is geared perfectly for like torque. Like, that's the way I like my stuff to be, right? Like, so a lot of torque. I don't. And I just had this happen to me. Holy cow. Alright, so let's go back. And we're not racing today. We're fixing the bike today. So now that you know what happened, I was creating the baseline because I already bought a kit where I'm still going to be using my 10 tooth in the front. So for now, and then we were going to go from a 50 to a 60 tooth, I guess, 420 gearing, 420 chain plus 420 sprockets. So if you have never replaced gearing on any of these bikes, this will be a good opportunity. Otherwise, you can probably skip to the end until I race my son again and see what happens. To put it in perspective, he has a 10 also on the front, or I guess on the top, and then he has about an 80 in the rear. So we want to know how close I can get with a 60. So a jump of like 10 teeth in the rear, hopefully gaining more torque, which is all I want right now. Okay, so I'll bring you closer, and we're gonna go old style, and this is a 19 and a 17 on the other side. So I'm just going to remove the nut like it's 1990 and we have no sockets. This is the 19, I think. Yep, perfect. So let's do this. Just to continue with my lecture about how much these bikes are similar to big bikes. Perfect. So this is one spacer from the left, and then we should be able to pull this one. Let me actually pull this like so, make it a little bit easier. I can, and then the other spacer, from the other side, if I can get it to move. Perfect. So let me loosen this one, and I should have one more to go, and we should be able to get this out fairly quickly. Perfect. I think. Not sure. Let's see. Yeah, they're loose now. So let me get them all by hand, and we'll start looking into the sprocket. Easy just to replace. All right. So now we can remove it. Good opportunity to take a look at the bearing and ensure that it's this is this bearing seized? The heck. Let me remove this out of here. I don't know if you can see this, but this doesn't move. Am I thinking about this correctly? This is supposed to be moving. What in the what? I think, yeah, I'm just trying to think if maybe no. So if I put this through, I know this can move in here, but if this applies pressure to it, then I don't know. Okay. So these bearings are cheap. So I'm gonna see if these are. So I'm expecting these. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Yeah, they are seized, and I've dealt with this before because this is supposed to be moving and it's not at all. And you'll see. I'm gonna get into moving in a second. So I've dealt with a bunch of this before. So I'm gonna end up removing them, and of course I'm going to clean all this mess. And I was not planning on this, but this is crazy. All right, so I just hit it up. I started hitting on the lip, and I think it came out. Oh yeah, it came out. So I don't want to touch it because it's probably hot. Yep, super hot. So we'll deal with that later. So now I can. So this is also very hot. So this is the sleeve that it was not allowing me. This is kind of making contact with the bearings on both ends. So you can tell like this was really making contact in the middle. So it got frozen at some point. So yeah, that sucks. So now I'm going to go ahead and remove the other bearing. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just to hit directly. If you want to reuse it, that's not the way you want to remove it, but yeah, it's out now. Is completely seized. So I'm moving it like fully. So it's not moving like this is not moving like just rotating on the surface of the balls. Like those are so hot right now. So it's not moving. So yep, we're gonna be removing them, and this is gonna make this bike so much better. So I just got the bearings. I just ordered them last night, and they just came in today. But I wanted to show you something. I have a theory. So if you look at this here, let me see if I can get it to. This here looks pretty nice, and then look at this. This looks like flared, which means that either someone tightened that rear end on that bike so tight that this was making contact with the bearings, and this is just the size of the internal side of the bearings, which means that this was preventing the bearings potentially from moving, or maybe they deformed the whole bearings from time to time. So what I'm going to do is just to shave just a tiny bit of this tube, because this is important to be inside, because this is going to be keeping the bearing from moving inside of the wheel, and they're just going to stay outside, so it's just going to keep everything in place. But you also want a little bit of like play, so where this is not really kind of getting smushed with the bearings inside. So I'm just going to fix this a little bit, and we're just going to get those bearings installed. All right, so I'm going to clean just the area. I have, like, I'm not expecting this to be too much trouble, but I have the bearings in the freezer for the last, I guess, 20 minutes. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not expecting this to be like a car. But okay, I want to show you something. These are the bearings from last night, which are not moving. And then these are the new ones that I just pulled from the freezer. And you can tell they're moving very smoothly. So that's just the proof that I was right. Not that I wanted to say something, but all right. So now we put the new bearing, and I'm going to use the old bearing to drive the new one because this is my sacrificial bearing, and then it has the same size. So okay, I'm gonna check, make sure that it's going straight. It is. Okay, still moving freely. Perfect. I'm gonna put some wood in the bottom so I can keep it from messing up the here where you put the sprocket. So now I'm going to drop in the sleeve. Perfect. Perfectly nice. And now I'm going to be driving the new one that I just brought from the freezer. Let me make it sure that's squared. Still repeat the process again, and now we're gonna get this one seated like we did with the other one. So now new bearings, the slave in. So now we can go back to the original thing we wanted to do, which was to actually put a new sprocket in. All right, so this is what's happening. So my son beat me in a race, and I told him that I was not gonna let that happen. No, I'm just kidding. That may happen again. But essentially, we're gonna go from a 50 to a 60. So I believe he's in an 80 right now. So chances are he's still gonna beat me. So I don't know how much lighter my CT is versus his Go Kart. You'll probably thinking, yeah, for sure, it's super lighter than a Go Kart. But honestly, this bike feels like a fat bike. So I'm gonna put it like so. This is a 60. I'm excited about it. So now we're just gonna follow the same process we did yesterday. So let me line up the bolts. Let me put at least one, and I'm just gonna go in the back and then just do this. I'm looking for and excited to get started. All right, so let me put this sprocket. You don't have to see me struggling right now. Essentially, what I want is just to put these 4 bolts the same way I remove them from the other one, and then we're just gonna get to install it in the front. Now I'm going to put this. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to get the brakes inside of the wheel first, and then I'll align it so that I can get everything in here. The brake drum, it's inside of the wheel. So what I'm doing right now is just to align the sleeve so that I can get the axle on the other side. Since I'm used to work on bigger bikes, I don't know if necessary on this, but I'm just gonna put some grease inside so it rolls nice and easy. Forget your spacer. So I'm gonna put a spacer on the other side, and I'm also going to put, just forgot, so the new chain came with new adjusters. So I'm going to be using the new ones, of course, since before the spacer. So before the spacer, and now the spacer, and I'm going to get started on this side. And you have to lift your wheel. Oh, it's gonna pivot. Okay, so I'm probably gonna be using the same method that I use on my bike, my big one. So I'm going to lift. This is what I'm doing. I just started, and then I'm making sure that I have good, like this leaf is in the right place, so that I can start threading the. And if it was not making sense, this goes out because you're gonna put this in here, and then the spacer is gonna go in between the frame and the brake. Okay, perfect. Okay, so it's almost already showing on the other side. So what I'm going to do, I'm just gonna put this in here, and I'm gonna press it with a mallet. Not press it, you know what I mean. So I'm going to take my mallet while I'm trying to align this. Okay, perfect. Okay, but I'm going to put the knot so this stuff stays here. So the kit came a 90 with a 90 links chain, which you can tell by now this is not going to be enough. So I'm going to be combining this one with my other one. So I'm expecting this to have a link that I can open. Here we go. So here's the master link that I'm going to be opening. Easier when it's on the bike, but essentially what you want to do is just to open this a tiny bit and then just push it to the back. Either that or then just put in your screwdriver like I do on my big ones and then just hammer a little bit and it's just gonna open this up. There you go. All right, so now I'm going to remove the plate. It just came out. And then we have the master link. I'm going to run the chain, run it here first to understand how many links do I need. The way I don't know if they sell them so that expecting you have a jack shaft like the original Colemans come with. So yeah, so right now I'm just gonna, you see I need, I don't know, 30 links or something like that so that I can match this with this. So we're gonna have to break the other one just to make it happen. But before we do that, I'm going to take this 13 to remove the clutch because I also purchased something else. Tensioner with this setup, but I'm going to be installing one and this is gonna go at the bottom of the engine. So comes with all the parts. Here's the roller that the chain is going to be running against. So I'm going to be installing this on the engine right now. All right, so the way you're going to be installing this is by using the existing holes in here. I ended up cutting the bolts because they were way too long. So they were not going in. I mean, they were going in, but they were kind of probably making contact with something internally. So I decided, let me see if I can get this to thread. Perfect. So let's go here. We can always change that later. For where this was going to be and ensure I have enough clearance to do this. So I think we're good here. Yeah, I think I'm good here. Now it's tight. Now I have that installed. Now we can get back to installing the clutch. And at the very least, just trying to get these so there's no problems here. All right, so I just opened the old chain just so I can start playing with, whether or not, how much I have to add to this one just to make it work. So I know I don't have the bolt in here. I just want to do this right here and kind of get an idea. So exercise. I'm just going to put this right here. So now I put a master and now this should make it easier to start kind of and ensuring that I have, go here, ensuring that I have the right length. Okay, cool. So this is a little bit longer than what I need. So something I'm doing, this is not gonna be perfect, but something I'm doing, I'm just kind of going back and forth and trying to see if I see anything kind of weird going on with the chain as the chain is going through the sprocket or the clutch. Okay, so I feel like we have a winner. I just realized that I can run it, I guess, any way I want, but I just realized that I guess the manufacturer recommends running these facing downward. So I'm gonna remove it and then just put it down, like flip it. I messed up. So And I'm going to go this way now, as opposed to the other way. So I'm just perfect. So now let me put back the clutch for the indentation right here. Okay, perfect. So now this one's gonna be running on top of the top of this one. I'm going to identify where do I want to cut this chain once again. So this is, why is everything so messed up in here? Okay, so it looks good now. So in case you're not familiar, if you have never done this before, I'm just gonna open up the, so you want to remove, like for example, I put a mark on, let me look for the one that, okay. I put a mark on this one. So that means that I want to remove this one so that I can keep the link on the inside, and that's where the new master clip or master link is going to go through. So like I said, this one, so you want to remove the one in the rear. So I'm gonna open this and I'm going to start applying pressure here. Sorry, I'm just trying to do this. You know what, I'm gonna face it down. Maybe easier, making sure that I'm looking at the right one. So I'm going to start applying pressure to the pin itself inside of the chain, which means that the pin is coming on the other side. So I have the pin out, so now I'm going to be retracting this from the chain, and now you'll see how I can separate. So now let's temporarily put a couple masters in here with the new section. It might be long, it's fine. I mean, better to be long than short, because adding, it's difficult. Okay, so now I'm gonna run this like so we can have the other one here. Okay, let me get it closer. Perfect. Now I'm gonna get the second master, and I have a master here. No, come on, you. All right, I have my master, so I can take my master and then just run it through these two. Actually, have the two masters, and it feels like it's not tight, but remember, I can do this now that I have this, which is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take care of the tensioner. I'm gonna leave it at the lowest setting for the time being. I just want to provide some support to the chain. This is good. So for now, this is good. So now, still not tight, but you can tell. Oh, yeah. So the brakes are kind of holding the wheel a little bit, but okay. And this is not fully tight, so I'm not expecting this to be perfect. But as of right now, feels good. So like I said, I can add some tension by doing this, which I love, because now there's no much dancing here with the tensioner. So I really like the fact that I have a tensioner right now. So, and I think I'm just gonna set up the chain all the way to the front using this, and if in the future the chain stretches, I can always go back to giving it some tension in here by just pulling here or doing some additional adjustment here. So as of right now, it's like this is all the way up, so I'm just gonna make it, give it some tension here. I'm gonna hold it with my leg. I'm already here. How about we just get this over with and we just remove the front fender. All right. All right, so last thing I did, so I already have the length of the chain that I want, and it looks pretty good. It's a little bit tight, but I'm going to, take out some of the tension, by adjusting the tensioner. But very important, this is the spacer that you use when you do the torque converter on these engines, and I was trying to use this one, but it was pushing the clutch like way too out. And then if I didn't use anything, the chain was going to be making contact with the bolts that are holding the bracket that's holding the tensioner. So I went online and I bought these chims that are three quarters on the inside, which is the measurement of the shaft of this. And I used two, which are significantly less wide as this one, and that just positioned this perfect, which is why I can have all this movement right now with no interference with this and this. So now I'm going to go ahead and put block plates on the master cylinders, and I'm going to go ahead and adjust the chain once more. Then just we should be done. Actually move it a little bit to the side. I put this guy right here. I'm going to put one here, and it's done, set, ready. So now I'm going to go ahead and remove some of the tension here, and I should be good to go after I tighten the nut in the rear. Yo, is your Go Kart ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, I'm ready to race too.